Since I found a way to record Super Nintendo games directly from my original Super Nintendo, yes, I only use original hardware, let's tackle the first game, Lagoon. This is a game developed and published by Camco, a company that is still developing games today, in the year 1991 in Japan. Europe saw the game but only in 1993, also published by Camco. North America also saw the game in 1991, however, published by Seika Corporation instead. But this is actually a port of the 1990 Japan exclusive with, obviously, the same name, published and developed by Zoom for the Sharp X68000. What is a Sharp X68000? I sadly don't own one, but it's a computer released only in Japan in 1987. Now let's tackle the game. You are Nazir, the warrior of light. You live in Lakeland that suddenly has a massive problem with its water because it's not drinkable anymore and people are not only getting sick from it but also dying. But since you are the hero, you have to find out what's happening because everybody else is a lazy fuck. Your whole journey leads you to Zeta, who is the cause of all of this because he wants to release a spirit that is evil and potentially rule the world. Of course! There is something really amazing when you go back to the golden age of gaming and play these awesome games. Or, well, not all games were amazing, granted, or even good, but many of them were, and Lagoon is one of them. And yes, I consider the golden age of gaming to be anything from the Super Nintendo generation up to the PlayStation 2 generation. The story of Lagoon for today's standards is, of course, quite basic. Maybe even for the time it was quite basic. You have a hero and you need to save the world. Sure, they added a whole plot about light and darkness for a bit more flavor, but it's nothing too much out of the ordinary you haven't already seen in games from the 80s. Well, yeah, that's all I have to say about the story. So I have not played many games developed by Camco, but Lagoon turned out to be quite good and a fun game. Sure, not so much when it comes to the story, but for the rest. You know, graphics, music and battle system. Let's hear some of the nice soundtracks the game has. Jumping to the graphics, well, you've been looking at it. There is nice parallax scrolling here and there, nice colors, even the armor of Nazir changes, the cape has nice shadow effects, and there is some nice animations when Nazir jumps. It's nicely done and looks quite charming. But I will admit I adore old school graphics. Yes, even the often badly aged 3D polygons during the PlayStation period, so yeah, my bias might be talking here. So this is an action JRPG. Well, actually like many games from current Capcom still are, and you just walk around the world freely, you see an enemy and attack him until he is dead. The enemies always respawn after a few seconds of you walking around. No, you don't need to change screens or areas, they always respawn as is. And if the music track is to your liking, then you will stay in that area walking around, grinding XP and listening to the glory of 16-bit music. In JRPG I tend to grind a lot because, well, I love grinding on its own, but if the background music is amazing as well, then I grind a lot more than I actually intended. That's the power of good music! Yeah, while walking around the character should be more in the center of the camera, but it's not too bad. It's recommended, at least I recommend it, that you grind for a bit or even to max level because one of the final bosses is insanely hard. The ones that have played and beat Lagoon know exactly what I'm talking about. This damn bird! This bird made me want to go outside and kill real birds! Motherfucker! However, once you grind to level 35, which is the max level, then you will not have any reason to defeat any more enemies. I mean, in a way it makes it easier to just run through everybody and all areas, but on the other hand, not having to defeat anybody else once you've reached max level makes the game a bit boring. Well, outside of the bosses, you still need to defeat those. But there are a few problems here. You can jump at any time, and sometimes you can jump over obstacles or enemy projectiles, but since the enemy attacks tend to be faster than Nazir can jump or even move at all, the jump is not as useful as it could have been. And for whatever reason you cannot use magic during boss battles at all. But only during boss battles. I mean, if you use some of these rings during battles, then they will use up SP, and that's fine. But not give us the choice if we want to use the same SP for the rings or magic? It's kinda weird. But again, this only happens during boss battles for some reason. Also, one weird thing is the hit detection, or well, rather distance. You really need to be almost glued to the enemy to hit him, and so especially when you are facing the enemy like this, then you will never really know if you are close enough to hit him or not. You basically have to guess the distance almost every single time. You can get used to it, but maybe a longer sword would have been better. Often you can't even stand right in front of the enemy to hit him. This is mainly because when Nazir swings his sword, he doesn't swing towards the center of the enemy's body, but rather it stays on the same line his arm is as well. For that reason, Nazir himself needs to be slightly off-centered compared to the enemy for his sword to hit. Basically, when you are in front of the enemy, consider the sword to be the center point and not Nazir. Sadly though, there isn't much to do at all besides playing through the story. No side quests, nothing else to discover or anything. And yes, that's quite of a shame because I was having quite a lot of fun. Until this fucking bird! But hey, for a simple game that can be beat in maybe 12 hours or so, then this is quite a fun and really enjoyable, especially because of the music.